Good morning, good morning. Danny Cobbin, 1-1 coaching. And we have Shawna on today. She's going to talk to us about all kinds of cool stuff. But a short bio that I can give about her and what I know about her is we sit down and have coffee every week and we just share, open up, and we see what's true for not only my kids, but her kids and really kids in the world. Hey, Shawna, how are you this morning?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, lovely to have you. If you want to run people through some of the things that you find important in your life before we get this thing jumping off, and I think that'll be awesome.
Okay. I am a case manager for an agency locally that we provide support for families in the community. And that's mostly through parenting education, but we also do lots of help with connecting them with community resources, helping them with legal, getting them connected with legal help, budgeting, anything that families need to help make their lives less stressful and where they can be better families, where they can connect and bond and um, really just live their best life. So
Yeah.
I have three almost all grown kids. My youngest is 17. He's going to be a senior this year, which is mind boggling because I'm only 15. So I don't know how that works, the math, but um, just kidding. I might be a little bit older than that. But so I have a 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, and then my 17-year-old. And they are. Um, and then I have like a plethora of adopted kids. So I've worked in youth ministry for almost 20 years. I have every job I've ever had where I've worked with kids. I just bring all the kids in and I want to help them kind of live a better life than I had growing up and have support that I didn't have growing up. And so that's really my big passion is helping mostly teenagers kind of see that they're valuable, that there's nothing that they can do that can make them less valuable. So that's really my big passion.
Before we get to that, because I definitely want to talk about that big passion of helping kids see the value in more than just what's here and now. Tell us a little bit about your story as to how you kind of sort of came to making that the the driving force in your life.
Oh, yeah. So I had a pretty crappy childhood, and my teen years weren't much better. As soon as I graduated high school, I got the hell out. Came all the way from California to little old Abilene, Texas, and went to college, learned some stuff in college, got married, moved away for a little bit, learned some more stuff. Um, Having babies really made me learn some stuff. I did not have any experience with children growing up. I was an only child, and so I just wanted to. I kind of made a pact with myself that if whatever experiences I had, I want to make other people's experiences so much better than what I had growing up. And so that's really been the driving force of every single thing. I mean, I worked in the grocery business for over 10
Oh, I
years. And
want to get to that. I want to get to that. But tell me, but before we get there, tell me one of the things that you can recall, if you're okay with that, that really like sparked that passion in you.
oh, there's so many. I was a latchkey kid, so I walked to and from school. This has come up a couple times this week, so it's interesting. I walked to and from school when I was 6, and I was by myself for several hours while my mom worked. Um, it's a miracle that I did not burn the house down or anything else. I mean, really, I mean, I knew I'd get my butt whooped if I tried to any shenanigans, but yeah, I walked to and from school, and it wasn't far, but I was 6 and 7. I shouldn't have been alone. So there was that. I just remember my mom wasn't very nurturing. She had her own crap that she was dealing with, so she didn't have space to nurture. She did the best she could, and so, I just, growing up as a teenager, I didn't have people to kind of help me navigate adolescence.
Yeah.
So I made some really, really bad choices. Um, really bad choices. And so, but again, understanding that nothing that I did ruined me. I mean, I really, it spent a lot of time um, coming to that realization that nothing I did ruined me. It helped me learn some things. And yeah, there's consequences to our actions, but um, very few of them are going to be life threatening, I guess would be the better way to say it. Like, yes, there's consequences. Sometimes you gotta deal with those consequences, and that kind of slows you down, whatever direction you think you're supposed to be going in. But it's never irreparable, and
Yeah.
so there's that.
Yeah, what you're saying, I can 100% understand and agree with. So one of the reasons why I enjoy coaching younger people and really helping them to see that, hey, whether you went to college or you didn't go to college, or you don't have a job or you do have a job, or you're traveling, if you're not traveling, doesn't matter what you're doing. Really, before 28, and I think 28 was kind of sort of my time to like, oh wow, where am I at in life? You kind of got till 28 to kind of mess things up. And I don't mean like go to jail or anything like that, although those things happen. I was watching a guy actually, speaking of that, who was talking about going, he went to jail from 16 to 26. And he's called the Wall Street Trapper, if you want to look him up. But essentially, he got out of jail out of all of the that lifestyle so that he could start investing in Wall Street and things like that. And what he said is, we have been playing the wrong game in some versions of society. And when we start playing the right game, like all the things that we did before just kind of sort of go into what we're doing now.
So
So
we have science to back all that up, Danny. We have science that says brain development to our brain is not fully developed until at least 25.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry to say, men's brains take a little bit longer to develop,
I would agree
closer.
with that. I would agree
Right.
with that.
I would too, but I have science to back me up. So 28 to 30 is about when male brains are fully developed. And so I think this is a good reminder of, you know, we often ask like why do our teenagers make the stupid choices that they make? Well, it's because their brains are not fully developed. We are expecting them to behave as adults when they are not adults. And if I may say, we as adults make stupid choices and our brains are fully developed. So I'm not sure why we have this um, unrealistic expectation on our kids when sometimes we can't even figure our own stuff out. So I'm going to throw that out there. That one's free.
Oh, so what you're saying, I kind of sort of come to the realization myself with my twins is like, okay, they are going to make mistakes. They are going to hit each other and kick each other. But as a parent, my job isn't to say, hey, no, don't go through those experiences. It's to help mold and guide them so that they know how to use their own wisdom. And I feel like, and you and I have talked about this, that that's kind of what's lacking in some of our younger adults is the fact that they think that at 25 they should have millions of dollars because that's what social media said. Social media has told them perfection is obtainable. So what's normal looks way less than. Is that have you been running into that as well?
Yeah, so there's it reminds me of several conversations I've had over the years. So one was well, several actually conversations about I'm super frustrated by the expectation of our 18-year-olds to kind of know exactly the path that they're going to be going in, and that actually starts. So if we're talking about education, right, that actually starts in eighth grade, where they are getting ready for high school and they're picking the classes based on the career path they think they're going to follow after high school. I don't know about you. I don't know if you remember what you were like in eighth grade. I'm gonna say I was a hot mess in eighth grade, and
Hot.
I did not know. I, there are many things I did not know. Career path was one of them, and you know most of the time. The other thing about that is we have a lot of kids that are suffering from trauma. We've got lots of kids who have some really hard places that they live. Their families are hard, their communities are hard. They're dealing with poverty, they're dealing with unmet basic needs. And really, the last thing on their mind at that point is, what am I going to do as a career when I'm grown?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I just need a place to sleep, I need to be fed, um, these people to get off my back, right? So that's part of it. The other part is the flip side of that is being 18 or 25 and looking at someone's life that's a little bit down the road and expecting that to be the thing. So I'll give you an example. I had a conversation lots of years ago with a good friend of mine who was um, old enough to be my mama. So we were having a conversation about um, maybe the expectation of kids, right? Kids my age, which I was in my mid 20s, late 20s, expecting to be able to have the house and the cars and the all of these things, right? At 25, when she was explaining that she has all that now because they worked hard for it. And when they were 25, she and her husband, they were scrambling, they were hustling, they were, right? They were not quite there yet. And so the expectation to say at 25, I'm going to have what my parents had at 50, right? So there's a little bit of a both and in that, which is a huge thing for me. I think our either or has really not been helpful to us. So the both and is um, we can't expect young people to have all their stuff together, and we as young people can't expect to have all the things that I'm lumping myself in with the young person. I'm not sure how I feel about that because that's a lie. But anyway, um, we as young people cannot expect to be able to reach certain goals um, right this second. And
Oh yeah.
so um, anyway, yeah, it's frustrating because I feel like I'm kind of caught in the middle, right? I'm not anywhere near being retired, and I'm not 25 anymore, and so I'm just kind of like, and the choices that I've made in life have brought me here. So that's the other thing that Danny and you and I have talked about. Like, what do we do with right this second? There's the nuance of like, man, some of those decisions, I wish I could go back and not make them. And the reality is, I can't go back. I can't
Oh,
go back.
not only can we not go back, but we don't know whether that past decision was really unhelpful or helpful.
Well,
Because
there's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
reason why I say that though is for instance, I talk a lot about my kids. Like I have Emily and Anthony. I had Emily when I was 19, right? And Kaylin used to be really upset with me, really frustrated, really like agitated with the way I was interacting with her. And I didn't understand it. I was like, I don't understand why you are doing what you're doing right now. That doesn't make sense to me. And I'm 35 and I have 2-year-old kids and I completely understand now. She was going mad. She was 19, 20 years old trying to raise a child. And that's what's crazy is society says that that's okay. Like society is kind of now saying, hey, at 20, go ahead and have a kid. I know you don't know what you want to do with your life. I know you don't know how you're going to get there, but you can make it. And I'm 32, or I was 32 when I had the twins, 33 or something like that. And me and Courtney still talk about today how, like, I have no idea how we would have been prepared. And we're never prepared to be parents, are we? Never.
Or
But,
marriage.
well, I mean, I could say I'm pretty prepared. Just
Okay,
joking.
calm down.
So this week's theme has been personal care, personal
Yes.
development, personal well-being.
Yes, and I brought you guys outside with me this morning as
Oh,
part of
beautiful.
my lesson on self care and wellness. So,
So when you think of self-care, we're about to get out of here in just a few minutes. If you wanna, if there's something you wanna say to like final say, or if you want to talk about a little bit about personal care, because we
Mhm.
have a little bit in your 20s. Don't think you should have it all figured out. Like that is huge. That is huge. So if
Yeah.
you are not in your 20s, so if you're in your teens or if you're in your 30s or 50s or whatever, please tell all 20-year-olds and teens that you don't have to have it figured out today. And
Yes,
then also
exactly.
tell your 30-year-old friends the same thing.
Right. Exactly. And maybe even your 40-year-old friends.
Yeah,
I'm not.
actually,
I'm not quite sure I've got it all figured out, and I'm in my 40s. So
before we go, this is something I found super interesting. Not until I was an adult did I realize that adults are just older kids with a little bit more
experience,
experience through the world. Yes, thank you for that. It's
maybe
like,
knowledge. Yeah.
yeah, when I was a kid, when I was 15, 16, you look at an adult that's 35, you're like, they got it all together. They've got it going. Da,
It's
da,
a
da, da,
big
da.
lie. Don't
Yeah,
believe it.
yeah, I'm 35. I don't have it all together. I don't have it all going. Yes, there's parts of my life that I love and they are beautiful, but
Yes.
I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a multimillionaire.
Do we need to be millionaires to
I
have our
don't
lives
think
figured out?
I don't think so, but social media kind of in some ways is telling us, hey. So final thoughts.
No.
What would you like to leave us with today?
So I've been thinking about self care is a big thing for me, and I've been thinking about self care in the time of COVID. Right. So we've been isolated. We've been a lot of our normalcy has been broken down. Right. So like I was talking to a friend on Sunday, and she's involved in all these activities normally, and all of those activities have stopped. Full
Mhm,
stop.
mhm.
And so she is feeling the, because a lot of the reasons why she does all those activities is for camaraderie and because she's interested in those things. And because she doesn't have those outlets, it's really hard. So it's basically work and home, with maybe some trips to the grocery store or whatever. And so I've been thinking about how does this work in the time now. So personally, I took up biking. So I'm going to show you my. Let's see if you can see it. You see my bike? There's my bike.
Yeah.
She's a
That's how
beauty.
you get that's how you get to the coffees every
That's how
morning.
I get to coffee. Yes. And so let me just pin for just a second. Yes, there are health benefits to exercising. Um, yes, we know this. Everybody knows this, right? But what I have found is not only am I um, exercising, which is great, but I'm getting outside, I'm getting sunshine, I'm getting fresh air, but I'm also getting time to myself, in a way that I had not done in a long time.
Mm.
And so creating a different outlet for self-care. So it's not about like I need to go to the spa or I need to go spend $100 or I need to go whatever we think, whatever again media has projected as self-care. Those are ways of self-care, but really my big thing is finding something that fills you so that you can go and then fill the people around you, right? So Danny talked about on Monday, and this is my big one, my visual of the oxygen masks on the plane, right? So we cannot help anybody until we've helped ourselves. We cannot provide help unless we put that oxygen mask on first,
Yeah.
and then we turn to our neighbor and help them. It's the same thing. So we've got to find ways. And I've been thinking about, um, how does this look? So I can ride my bike. I'm abled to ride my bike. What about folks who are disabled in different ways? And I would say this is again a unique and personal journey in finding things that fill you up. So it could be journaling, it could be
Yep.
singing, it could be um, gardening, it could be. Gardening is not my thing. That would actually be the opposite of self care for me. I'm just throwing that out there. But that's the thing, right? Everybody has a different thing that could fill them up and give them peace and help them be able to manage all the things that we're having to deal with right now. And so that's my big message of go out and find that thing that's going to help you kind of deal with where we are in this time.
I love that, Shauna. Fill your own cup.
That's right.
One of my mentors, Michael Neal, says it kind of like this. So love yourself, fill yourself up, and then what happens is there's an overflow, and
Yes.
that overflow, give that overflow back to yourself.
Hmm.
And then what happens is there's another overflow. And that overflow, give that back to yourself. Because when we give that overflow back to ourselves, we're so full of love and joy and vibrance that we have like it just naturally flows out of us. And I just want to say
I love that.
today, be more you. And as you're more you, one will help one, and we can grow stronger together. Thank you, Shauna, for dropping in.
Thanks,
Everybody
Danny,
have a,
for having me.
yes, ma'am. Have a great day.